I knew I wanted to study abroad, but I didn't know the specific program.
I thought it'd be a good opportunity to go international for my first time.
I wanted to go on this trip primarily because I wanted to get the most out of my college experience.
This just kind of like fell into my hands, and so I took advantage of it.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a year and a half.
I got the opportunity to come to France when I was about 15 or 16, and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't get the chance to appreciate it. I was really happy to be able to come back and get into it and understand what a cool opportunity it was.
Discovering Gastronomy is a program to try and fill a gap that we noticed in our students.
I remember from Chef the word terroir. When Chef mentioned that word, it basically clicked, and that's Discovering Gastronomy.
Terroir is the notion that a food product has a sense of place. So when you're tasting a wine from Burgundy or Bordeaux, you taste the land, the weather, the people, the place. It's not just a transactional, I'm buying a bottle of wine. I'm buying a piece of history.
En un mot, la découverte de la gastronomie, pour moi, c'est la découverte des sens.
Discovering gastronomy, for me, is understanding where your food comes from, how it's processed, how it's raised, knowing everything you can about your food and understanding how to taste different foods, really feeling the flavors in your mouth versus just plopping it in your mouth and swallowing.
Oh,
Isn't it?
Can I pour?
Yeah.
A lot of things that I wasn't expecting to experience on this trip. I wasn't really expecting it to push my comfort zone so much because I traveled and I knew how to travel and I love food, but there were so many new experiences.
It's cool seeing different levels of service and the different culture that they have here that we miss in America.
I always wanted to go to a wine vineyard. We'd been to 3 or 4 and they were all so different, and we got to see the vines and the grapes. We went to a wine school in Bordeaux where we got to also learn more about the history of wine, and it was just a really cool experience.
Beforehand, when I drank wine, I wasn't thinking about how they grew it and the care that goes into it. Seeing it from their side and seeing how much passion and just how much they care for it and they value it so much makes me appreciate the wine that I'm drinking.
As a Chinese person, we eat most because of our health. But since I came to France, it's more about enjoy your life. Most of the people have a busy life. They can't spend 2 or 3 hours on a meal. But French people did. And then I just enjoy the meals like them. I think life needs you to stop your steps sometimes and really enjoy the meals in front of you. Maybe this dish the chef made for you, they want to tell a story for you and share some really meaningful or interesting things with you. If you just be patient and taste it, you will get it.
People are really what kind of connect that story about food. And that's something we want to bring back to the students too, is that food has a story.
Back home, I would say I'm a pretty picky eater, but this trip has definitely expanded my palate. I do appreciate the craft and their passion for it.
The food here is very unique. I've eaten duck, full-on fish with their heads in it, just so many weird things, but I've loved every minute of it.
I like the challenge of trying things that we normally don't get to eat where we're from.
I can feel the passion in the food, and I like it.
We went to the Gironde salt harvesting area and seeing how they're working the land to develop products that are so important in the world and reconnecting them with something that we take for granted. driving out into the ocean, getting out of the tractor and walking around in the water and seeing the mussels on the poles and being just in the middle of this field was amazing. Just a complete sensory overload experience.
I loved going to the old historic towns. You were immersed in the culture by being in those historic towns. Like, you could feel France's history by being there. And then when you ate the food in those towns, like, you could just travel back in time.
Oh my God!
My other favorite part of this trip is getting to go to people's houses and see how they live and be served like we're part of the family.
Learning how to make bread, and then we got to make it ourselves. That was such a special experience.
The World War II Museum, learning that history, being on the land where so many people have died. It was really just a unique experience.
Students come on this trip to experience something new, something to kind of get them to their next level. And we use the table, social aspects, the food, the people we meet, but oftentimes what we discover is that they learn more about themselves on this trip than about gastronomy. It brings them to a new level of understanding and perspective that they can bring back to employers like Four Seasons or hotels or restaurants. They're bringing this into their businesses where they go. So it's such a value-added experience.
My favorite part of this whole trip is probably getting to know so many different people that I probably just pass by in the hallways.
This is such an eye-opening experience for anyone. You really learn a lot about the France culture, but you also learn a lot about yourself because you're going outside your comfort zone, trying new things, doing different things. It really betters you, and it makes me just want to travel more. Like, it's just, I want to see what else is out there.
College is really an important period for you to open up your horizons, to try more things. France is really a good place for all the students to come.
Yes, other students should definitely go on this trip if they're looking to grow themselves personally and professionally, and if they've never gone out of the country or just traveled the world. All the things that we get to do on this trip within 3 weeks, most French people don't get to do in their lifetime. And so it's just a great honor and opportunity that I don't think anyone should take for granted.
I would definitely recommend it to students because you're not going to get an opportunity like this in the future.
I would recommend 1000% students go on this trip. It's really eye-opening to see the way other people live outside of my comfort zone back home, and I don't know, I think leaving this trip is gonna make me live every day a little bit differently.
4, 5, 6, 5, 7, 8, 9,
I feel very privileged to be able to do the things that I've done on this trip.
Discovering gastronomy is an adventure.
I want to say amazing, but that just seems so bland.
Discovering gastronomy has been unexpected.
Outstanding.
Discovering gastronomy is a surprise.
Discovering gastronomy is infinite.
Wonderful. It's all positive words. It's hard to just narrow it down to one word, but I love it.